Hi, I'm Eric Booker. On last night, Mayor James Ford hosted a town hall meeting for the purpose of responding to the recent criminal activity right here in the city of Country Club Hills. Now, of course, many of our residents attended this town hall meeting. Certainly, our local elected officials were present, and we also had two mayors from surrounding municipalities to join in on the discussion, particularly Mayor Roger Agpawa of the city of Markham and President Vernard Alsberry of the village of Hazel Crest. I had the opportunity to sit down and speak with these gentlemen about their perception of the origin of this criminal activity, as well as their outlook for the future of the Southland. They additionally discussed with me what they're doing as members of the Southland Regional Mayoral Black Caucus to respond to and address this activity. So it was a very enlightening interview with these gentlemen. After that interview, you want to stay tuned because we have a very special message that we're going to bring to you from our Chief of Police here in Country Club Hills, Chief John Galvin, who will outlay specific strategies to respond to and combat the violence that is particularly in the city of Country Club Hills. So stay tuned and check it out.
And we've had an increase in the city of Country Club Hills recently, with crime. And my concern is that it's not only the city of Country Club Hills, it's a regional thing. And what we have been doing with that, we have been meeting with the different mayors. Actually, there's 17 mayors in the caucus that we meet with on a regular basis. And we're sharing ideas and information, and our police departments are coming together to work together as well to see what we can come up with to deter some of this crime.
We're seeing increased violence, increased speeding of people driving their cars. You got to remember, I always call 2020 the lost year. 2020 was a year of COVID, and with that, not only did we see a lot of people who were affected by the virus, who family members passed away, but we also seen a shutdown of just day-to-day normalcy in far as police officers stopping vehicles, individuals committing crimes where, we don't have enough police on the street because, you really didn't want to touch anybody or get in anyone's face. And then when you talk about the increase of violence, a lot of that it's like a post-traumatic stress syndrome. You got family members who passed away and people got all this depression. People couldn't bury their loved ones, couldn't go to the hospital to see them. A lot of that build-up of anxiety and depression of people has caused people, when they get back out in the real world, people get upset very easily, more aggressive than they have been in the past. Young folks are just coming out because they've been locked up and not able to come out and socialize. And a lot of people walk around with attitudes. And then the proliferation of weapons in the streets add to that anger and people. And then you have the rivals of gangs moving into our region. And like I said, we had incidents when young men were driving down the street shooting at each other. We've never seen like that in the south suburbs. So it goes across our whole region. And so our efforts now are to, we've worked with our police forces where we have our detective divisions who are actually working together with Country Club Hill, Hazel Crest, Markham, Dalton, Olympia Fields. We're working together and we're looking at crime statistics and see how can we help each other across our borders.
This didn't just start. The violence has escalated, and certainly you'll find out when you maybe talk with other mayors. I sit as the president of the Southland Regional Mayoral Black Caucus. So you'll find out when you talk to them is that we didn't just really come up with what the violence has just grown, but we've been in the planning stages of dealing with the violence for quite some time. We've worked regionally with our police chiefs, and we have talked with them about how they're going to be able to combat it.
What we're trying to do is actually start collaborating while using information, tracking the bad actors from when they move one place to another. I was talking to Mayor Ford of Country Club Hills, and he was talking about the license plate readers, that how they were able to catch individuals. One guy had an AK-47, a weapon in a car. And so I even talked to him, how do we be a part of this? So our borders are connected with these license plate readers, and so that if they roll out of Country Club Hills, they roll in Hazel Crest, we capture those numbers also and be able to follow where that person went.
You know, I have an adage I say in my community, you know, no one, you talk about guns, nobody's holding a gun at anybody's head to live in Markham. If you want to move, you can move whenever you choose, but you have to live right if you're going to stay there. That's how it works.
You have to know exactly what your kids are into, because that could create a danger for you, as we've seen a couple of things happen in our community where, you know, you bring in kids and they are involved in drugs and some other things, and that really does put your life in danger. So we want you to be aware of that, your kids and your grandkids. What is it that they're into?
We just had a multitude of shootings, and one was with an 8-year-old child. So here we are, we're watching kids being caught in this violence. So what are we doing? Again, if that child and other adults as well are being harmed through violence, then they either know someone in Markham or our neighboring community in Hazel Crest or Country Club Hills, or they live there. And you know, people say things about, well, people speed up and down the street and this, that, and the other, and different kids every day. But you know what? They either, again, live there or they know someone there. And so they're not just driving casually through your community. They're not just casually coming by to shoot someone they don't know. It's not a random, just a random thing. They have some relationship with people, and they come in with the violence because it's relative. They know someone in some regard or another.
We know this unprecedented times in the Southland. People live here for years and years. They're not used to hearing gunfire, and we don't want them to get used to it. We don't want that to become a normal thing to do. And the important thing for them to do is to continue being active in their community, make those phone calls when something happens. Somebody suspicious out there, make their phone calls. And if your son or daughter, it doesn't make just men, sons and daughters that are doing something that's unusual, hey, you have to actually report that. Let us know what's going on. And if you got grandkids coming to your house, and because we've had grandparents' homes get shot up because something their grandson or granddaughter has done in the city or other places, and they're putting their lives in jeopardy. You have to talk to those young people, tell them to stay away from your home. If they're into that type of, you can talk to them and counsel them, but hey, don't want them coming to your home, bringing that violence to you and to your neighborhood that you live in, and to want to be safe.
That's why a lot of people move to Markham, they moved to Hazel Crest, they moved to Country Club Hills. They came from Chicago years and years and years ago. They wanted a better life, and this is what we're sharing as mayors to get that piece of life back in our communities, and we're going to do it. And that's the leadership that is dedicated in each one of our communities right now.
Don't be fearful, but be aware. And be assured that we're out here. Our police departments are doing a great job. We still don't have the high crime numbers that you may see in other places. It's still safe to walk your dog. It's still safe to walk the community. I see more people out now than I've seen ever. Again, maybe a byproduct of COVID, people being in, but people are still coming out. Don't be afraid of a group of young folks walking down the street. They're just young people like we used to. When they're walking down the street, they act silly, they jump around, act crazy, but 90% of them are very, very respectable, even more than 90%. All I'm saying is that don't be afraid. We're here. Our police officers are working together in a united front. We had a meeting with all the police chiefs in the south suburbs, so they can understand how to implement the new laws, and actually how can we help each other across the borders as we police our community. So be assured, you're safe. These are still isolated incidents. These are not everything that happens that's been negative so far as far as gunfire and things. Those are retaliations. That is not something that's just a norm in our community. These are people acting bad somewhere else and someone coming after them. So it's not something that's widespread. It's everywhere, but it's not widespread in the Southland. We're still safe, still the best place to live, I think, in the state of Illinois, the most diverse region in the state of Illinois. So enjoy your community. Don't be afraid. We're here, and we're going to make sure you stay safe.
I think the meeting went very well because of the fact that my officers were very prepared to address the issues of this meeting, for this meeting. And in addition to that, I had 2 other mayors from surrounding towns that attended this meeting to also share with our residents that this is not a Country Club Hills thing. This is a regional issue that we are faced with. And I thought that the meeting went very well. And with the questions that was answered for the residents, I think that cut down on a lot of their concerns and made them feel safe. It made them know that we as mayors are working together to make sure that we create a safe environment for all of our residents in our surrounding towns. Because like I said, once again, the 3rd time, it's a regional thing. And so I thought that the meeting went very well last night. I was appreciative for the participation. The way that the crowd conducted themselves was very nice. And I think when everybody left, they had a good feeling about the town that they live in.
Hi, I'm Chief Galvin with the Country Club Hills Police Department. Recent criminal activity in the Southland has been on the rise as of late. Specifically, in Country Club Hills, in the last week and a half, we've had a couple incidents, a couple homicides that we need to address. First and foremost, I want the community to know that both of these incidents were unrelated to one another, and each were isolated or target specific, meaning the victim and offender had some form of relationship prior to the incident. With that being said, we formed a committee to develop strategies moving forward to combat the issues being seen across the area. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about the community being an extension of our law enforcement. The community is critical in our enforcement of law. It's an extension of our police department, and without the community, we'd be unsuccessful in our endeavors. First and foremost, the first concept is going to be saturation enforcement. Saturation enforcement will consist of us deploying officers in various areas throughout the community to address problems and concerns. That will also include foot patrols. Secondly, aggressive enforcement of our crime-free housing ordinance, as well as our building code. Those are huge quality of life issues that we believe, if addressed, can impact crime in a positive manner. Another aspect of our concepts is technology. Currently, throughout the community, you will see various cameras installed. Those are known as LPR cameras, or license plate reader cameras. Those afford us the opportunity to look for certain vehicles, conduct investigations, so on and so forth. In addition, we're looking into true video cameras to be placed throughout the community in our plazas as well as our city parks. Along with that is what is called Raven. It's an audio detection device similar to ShotSpotter. We will be installing those in an effort to combat crime, detect gunshots or glass break, etc. We also formed a partnership with the Cook County Gang Unit. This will also afford us additional manpower throughout the community to address issues that we are seeing. Many of the crimes being committed aren't just specific to Country Club Hills. Some of the crimes are Hazel Crest crimes, Markham crimes. Reason being is we are going to form a regional tactical unit with the surrounding communities to combat these issues. Also, we're going to conduct regional detective meetings to share information, so on and so forth, because many of our incidents are going to be related to one another. Also, community meetings. We had a community meeting last night, which in my opinion was very successful. Transparent communication, open communication, and dialogue, was had with the community, which I think is critical to positive enforcement. So moving forward, we're going to have additional community meetings. We believe it is important, to maintain a positive relationship with those that we serve. Additionally, a relationship with the area mayors is critical for us. We've already started this endeavor, but we're going to schedule meetings with the mayors, village presidents, so on and so forth, to address the issues. Also with the mayors is we're going to schedule meetings with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, the Cook County Presiding Judge, as well as the Cook County Sheriff. We believe we need to address some issues with our bonding procedures, recidivism, and the overall criminal justice system as a whole. On top of that, the mayors will also assist us in scheduling meetings with legislators. Criminal justice reform bills that have been in place that, in our opinion, inhibit our ability to perform to our highest level, and hopefully open dialogue will afford us the opportunity to address some remedies that can help us moving forward. With that being said, as I mentioned earlier, community meetings are critical. So we'll be scheduling future meetings, which you'll be made aware of, dates and times, etc. We look forward to our communication with those that we serve. Thank you.